Here's a funny observation from the whole peanut to squirrel situation that's going on right now. Um, it's a squirrel, right? that's like uh, that's like out in public when you have somebody you're talking to and they're constantly distracted. What do people say? Squirrel, squirrel. Oh, we saw a squirrel. Or if you're walking your dog, right, and there's a squirrel, all of a sudden you're face down, ass up on the freaking sidewalk because squirrel, because the dog pulled you. And that's where our society is right now. We're like, squirrel, look, I'm mad about a squirrel. Oh, the squirrel got euthanized. And I mean, that's fine. The squirrel story is actually pretty interesting if you look at it from a wider lens. But it's just like we're just on the outrage wheel. We saw a squirrel, and now we're all, making YouTube videos, even me. But I feel like we're missing the point. A week ago, a toddler was killed by a pit bull. A week before that, 2 toddlers were killed by a pit bull. Between those 2 weeks, several people were mauled by a pit bull. And yet we're so concerned about a squirrel. A freaking squirrel, I mean, I get it. The guy put 7 years of his life into making that squirrel Instagram famous. And, but we're so concerned about the squirrel. It's like, I talked earlier about the state that guy lives in. They bring dangerous dogs into the state that could have rabies, that could bite people, and a pack of dogs in New York killed a man. And they can enforce squirrel laws, but they can't enforce dog laws to protect people. It's like they're violating their constitutional rights. They're bringing dangerous dogs into New York State via tax shelters. Those dogs kill people, but then they're worried about a squirrel. Like, the point is just so much beyond the squirrel. I mean, it sucks that the squirrel died and everything, but yeah, this is how we are as a society right now. I made a point about the outrage wheel, or the outrage cycle. We're just looking for that next thing to be outraged about. And this whole thing with the squirrel, it's like the same thing. Somebody that can't pay attention or walking a rambunctious dog. It's like, squirrel. Yeah. So that's where we are right now. If you have no idea about the story that I'm talking about, I'll put some links in the description. But I mean, a week from now, is anybody, or 2 weeks from now, is the squirrel story still going to be going? Probably not. It's probably going to be something else to happen. But the fact that we don't react to all the death caused by the dogs, all the children being put in the hospital and having to have their veins and muscles and skin stitched back together, but we're so squirrel about somebody's squirrel. Like, it's just it's a metric for where a society is. We're just looking for that next squirrel to be excited about, and the fact that dog attacks happen on kids all the time, that's not exciting anymore. And the government and the people are both guilty, because we're putting all this attention into that guy's squirrel now that the squirrel is seized and euthanized, right? But it's the same thing when the squirrel was alive. People were glued to Instagram to look at the squirrel. Meanwhile, probably 2 blocks down, a pit bull mauled a kid. 2 states over, a pack of dogs killed a grandma. And so even when the squirrel was alive, it's still the same situation going on. Both the government and the people are too concerned about a squirrel to be concerned about each other.